Lovi Bori Songa Ho, Gotobone, Jacob Soso no Joko Churo, Dodge Papa to Chin Chopa Tangelo, Tashi the election.
All the Dharma friends in the various countries in the world, thank you for joining the Vajrakilaya practice.
Thank you.
We'll begin today's session with the Yellow Prayer Book, doing the opening prayers on page 1. All Mother sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. May they experience happiness, be free from suffering, and swiftly may they attain precious, unsurpassed, perfectly complete enlightenment. All Mother sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. May they experience happiness, be free from suffering, and swiftly may they attain precious, unsurpassed, perfectly complete enlightenment. All Mother sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. May they experience happiness, be free from suffering, and swiftly may they attain precious, unsurpassed, perfectly complete enlightenment. For that purpose, until I attain Buddhahood, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. Until death, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. From today until this time tomorrow, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. I take refuge in the Buddhas until I attain the essence of awakening. Likewise, I take refuge in the Dharma and in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. Just as the Buddhas of the past gave rise to bodhicitta and progressed along the Bodhisattva's path, so shall I give rise to bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings and practice the stages of the Bodhisattva's path. I take refuge in the Buddhas until I attain the essence of awakening. Likewise, I take refuge in the Dharma and in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. Just as the Buddhas of the past gave rise to bodhicitta and progressed along the Bodhisattva's path, so shall I give rise to bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings and practice the stages of the Bodhisattva's path. I take refuge in the Buddhas until I attain the essence of awakening. Likewise, I take refuge in the Dharma and in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. Just as the Buddhas of the past gave rise to bodhicitta and progressed along the Bodhisattva's path, so shall I give rise to bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings and practice the stages of the Bodhisattva's path. Next, we'll do the sadhana of Vajrakilaya, starting on page 1, and Masha will lead us with the Umze chanting, zooming in from Russia.
To the spoken word lineage I pray, primordial kuntus andorjechan, tianis hierukas lekivan mon, prabhavasti dorjeto transam, Grimeshenyan fintamer blisquin, Shila manjula shakya devikin, and subjects 25 nanam chim, Shuburon zom and the clan of Kon. May the fortress of the view begin to reveal treasure lineage I pray. Choki van choklong tridzin goden, antarnisht vajrasan gelin pam. Rincha dark and glorious. Disciples no borden sozurlan, useful atzaralan jandur. His four disciples darcharinzan, Rokchalter daglin chagmeda rest. May conduct's life force be seized, I pray, to Kilaya's divine mandala. Vajra sattva embodiment of peaceful and wrathful families display. Dharma Vajra, master of secrets, Vajra Vidarana cutting through the root of delusive thought and humor. Deity within whom is complete, all enlightened acts to tame beings, body of compassionate wrath you rise. From Dharma space grain blazing tamer, of demons the 100 moon dancer, slanderous great Heruka Vajra use, mother coil gedem union of primordial wisdom and basic space. 10 powers, perfections, 10 royal pairs, beast-faced ones, gatekeepers, those but ones. Mighty and the rest to you I pray, grant complete victory over Maran. When a dark blue weapon perfected, self-born Rigpa arises in them, gate of life force as wisdom draws them, all pervasive wisdom Kila strikes into open Dharma Dhatu space. May it sever dualistic thoughts. When one sees Khandhas and elements, S3 seats filled with Vajra wills and unelaborated consciousness, as the brain bleeds Vajra Kilaya, of immeasurable compassion strikes the beings of 6 classes. May they seize the rescue rope of compassion when the hands not releasing strikes at harm doers who are grasping at the three poisons and appearances, penetrate them to their final end, conquering the demon of skandhas and liberate this body as deity, conquer the demon of afflictions with the seal of bliss and emptiness, conquering the demon of death, attain dominion of immortal life, conquering the Mara demon of gods, reach the spontaneous perfecting ground. May the four externate qualities be swiftly accomplished and specially. May the flames of wrathful mantra rise, incinerate the evil hearts of hindering enemies and obstructors. May glorious Heruka state begin. Page 12. Namoyan, all sentient ones, reverent three doors take refuge in the Guru triple gem, idams and victorious hosts. Namoyan, all sentient ones with reverent three doors take refuge in the Guru triple gem, idams and victorious hosts. Namoyan, all sentient ones with reverent three doors take refuge in the Guru triple gem, idams and victorious hosts. Alas, to liberate all sentient ones and transform samsara to page 7. Om Vajra Amrita Kundali Hanna Hanna Om Pet Om Svabhava Shuddha Saravat Karma Svabhava Shuddham. From the state of emptiness appears a broom, from which arises a jeweled vessel. Inside the vessel is a gnome, from which appears a torma, which transforms into nectar. Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum. Om Prithvi Devi Loka Palasa Parivara Vajra Samaja. Om Prithvi Devi Loka Palasa Parivara Idam Balinta Kaka Kahi Kahi. Om Prithvi Devi Loka Palasa Parivara Idam Balinta Kaka Kahi Kahi. Om Prithvi Devi Loka Palasa Parivara Idam Balinta Kaka Kahi Kahi. Om Prithvi Devi Loka Palasa Parivara Arnyam Panyam Pushpe Dupe Aloke Gandam Nevidye Shakta Pratikasva. as I strive toward great awakening, making effort for sentient one's sake. Please make the conditions favorable in these countries, regions, and places. Earth protecting Dhamma, Caesars, Lord, spirits, kings, ministers, and retinues, accept this dharma of pure substances and this golden dream, without being troubled, jealous, or intolerant, as I practice to accomplish my purpose and wishes. Grant me this place of precious treasures, as I fulfill your wishes and hopes. Let me gain the fruit of Page 13. In spontaneous nature's palace, vast even the concepts of obstructing and misleading do not exist. Dhamma and its bounds fully pure and spontaneous opening, spans concepts of confession and confess, self-liberating natural space, yet should there be confusion caused by grasping at perceiver and perceived, I confess this ignorance to the host of self-reason, deities, samayam, puramrita, primary self, born rakta, redness, liberating them, six moons into basic space, great door, phenomena present in the ground, district are the inexhausted balances in elixirs, Oma, Om Vajra Pushpe Dupe Alokem Gande phenomenal existences, the boundless palace amid the blazing dark blue, giant round among the fed from green Warriors Vajra. Use dark blue with three faces, 6 arms, and 4 legs, spread wide in the heroes. Stands right face, right left, red central dark. Blue my crowns adorned with the 5 families at my heart is thou I foreseen. Whom my 9 eyes glare fiercely to them. Down directions my gaping mouth show. Fangs and tasting tongues my 2 right hands. Hold 9 and 5 prong Vajras my left. Hands wield the firearm as an one. Love between lower hands I roll up. Mount Meru, Kiva, Naskan, Kitai. Fearsome charnel Rangar, man's great consort core, long yet wide. One face, 2 arms, 2 holds. Arms to lotus and embraces my anchor left, gives a blood scout to my lips, set out foreheads, blue Karyam. Yum let out throats red, Hayan Riva. Bear down hearts blue, Yamantakam. Bear of down Nevas, Chartras, Lutsi, Kilva, Yamyum. Down Nevas, dark green, Mio Yamyum. Thou secret place, blue top chen. Bear on our right shoulders, white namgyal. Bear on our left shoulders, blue yungon. Bear on our right eyes, up in Bogya couple. On our left eyes, amber, Kamsum couple. In 4 directions for supreme. Suns at 10, spokes 10, rustfuls, Wiscon. Swords and animal, face them on nations, each of these 24 rustfuls. Vine Vajra wings charm on ground adorn. Man's wielding weapons marked with Aaron. Signs that forgets for mist faced gatekeepers round the mandalas every fall. Reasons and nations, those bound can dance the assemblies Shwanarema. Your sisters Koparayanan. Conch beings appeared as the prince of deity and Kornajan Ray. Deep in the main deity's heart on sun the down sized wisdom being. Vajrakilaya in his heart on sun stands a grain-sized gold Vajra rain, whom is encircled by the mantra at each deity's crown is an home, and they throw them and their hearts whom Tenzin directions Buddhas now conform, blessing empowerment my comes adorned by a mogas in his son. Page 71.
Not 71 today.
Do we do Kiva consecration?
Not so the final day.
No? Or we continue with the text?
Yeah, page 21.
Sorry, I don't know. Do we do Kila consecration today or
Page 21.
not? Okay, thank you. Page 21. Om. Hum. Swa. Ah. Ah. Mum. Light rays emanate from our hearts, inviting the wisdom beings. to free from evil thoughts. 3 realms and bring the people. Right urges in bone and fat. New I pay 1.8 home. Manjati Kuho Rati Chaho. Please receive these offerings, Lord. Leave without acceptance or rejection. Om Vajra Argyam Panyam Pushpa Light rays radiate to the 10 directions from the sixth syllable and the mantra string at my heart, and invoke the essence of the three-root sacred bond. All the blessings of body, speech, and mind descend like rainfall in the forms of white umbrella and blue hum, dissolving unobstructedly into my three places. Then all the blessings and powers of all the victorious ones' compassion in the form of inconceivable Vajra Kilaya deities large and small, gently fall and dissolve into me. The deities of my body mandala as well as the deities in union residing within my channels are like the seeds of an open sesame pot. They and all the deities of the mandala reverberate with the sound of the mantra, like the sound of a broken beagle.
Ancora Rinpoche so.
다 들으면 총총을 들으다 다 가시 뭐도 총총도 쇼를 대기서들이 소망을 봐 저장을 배고 강리들이 가장 다 소동을 제일라니들이 공부 제 등지 제 산능 제기도 공부 제 따와 등지 제 산능 자와미가 Nipuzer Kazangajo Kolo, the took a set of Dorjin named Data, they are in Karsam, Fury, the Togotri Gujo, they were in Kardam, Hojiteri, the tea, Tim, Polo di Jimmy Macona, the same Jimmy, but takes with Nate away or the Katacha Tavari. That didn't told you there, so didn't told you there about the Tati, you know, jail, the change capture, Tati did. The tongue tao ha quality, cho de Sivadilla, self to the tongue, non to the someone to the new some.
So today we are starting, because we have less time, we are starting the teachings right now, and then after that you can use the restroom. And so we mentioned yesterday talking about the 4 nails that bind the life force. And so we already spoke about the nail of meditation and the nail of samadhi, and then the nail of the single, and which includes the nail of samadhi included the single pointed appearance, a visualization of the deity. And then also we spoke about the what is it? So, sorry, the single pointed meditation is one. And so the fourth one we didn't talk about much, a little bit yesterday, was the nail of meditation, the nail of mantra recitation. So yesterday we spoke about the visualization for that, and we visualized the mantra circle. And the main visualization we have said is that we visualize at the heart there is a Vajra, the size of a barley grain, and then at the hub of that Vajra, the center is the size of a mustard seed, and at that center, which is the size of a mustard seed, we visualize the mantra string circling. So that's the main visualization, and then we focus on that continuously. So the mantra circles continuously, and then the mind is able to abide with it continuously. So all of that we mentioned yesterday. So those were those 3, right? So just to summarize, so meditation, samadhi, and mantra recitation. And then today we speak about the nail of emanating and gathering back. And that is explained in the context of the 4 branches of approach and accomplishment. And of these 4, it is in the context of the great accomplishment, or the Drubchen. And so, according to the view of the secret mantra, there is an outer, inner, and a secret aspect to the emanating and the gathering back.
Teri Jacob with Jastote, Teri Shirabla, Nigel, said Juanga, Jackie Capture, last or Juanga, of the Dune, the Jacob the Perdier Convella Tang, Della Part Road, and the Shabla, New Jay, the Jackie Capture Chile, time to the Dune. Three Torres, Dud, and Juanga, of the Dune. Don't double Jacob, Juanga, the Sequa, Jana, the Juanga, such a moment, Juanga, that of this good, the Jacob, and Togo, Mamma Tama, the Juanga and Toa, the settle of the none of the dirty, settle of the tea, the Chipola, she let the big Lamja Machina, the settle of the Chipola, the reality, none of the carriage, none of the sta, Sanga, Ladan, Harati, Madame, how you did, Janet, 3 tables on that, sound of leg, Joe, to the take your Joe to draw the Jerry, Mark Pew Jane, the Katanga Cortella, the Larshipa. Not good of the Shiva, not the lovely Shiva, not the dog the Shiva song, not Larshipa, the lump of the lettering, not got the hot and you won't go to Koro Kabi, literally La Cortilla, Lock, Nipa Casilla, 말 사야도는 흘러 사야지 살아 뵙고요래. 지네들 사야지 집들만 사야 살아 뵙. 대들이 대바도 대바다 니게지 파토래. 파 대바도 거들이 애들 파토아들이 라이 고조 용디처럼 파토아래. 대바도 되게 설고 줘서 그 삼바다 니게를 되네. 내가 그 타석도 가서 뒤에서 당지의 유모 조였지. 무릎 쳐 터지. 철도 아들 무릎 터지래. 그 삼다 기지 삼바다 기지 상쪽집도 쳐 터고요. 난도도 때는데 나 대바다 기지 대들이 철스럽 삼대 토바대 판 니게가 로가로 습지 삼절이 니게 같이 찾다. 대대에서 잡고 니게 되거든요. 처럼 철수하는지 제기 오래 되지. 동다가 또도 하고서잖아. 현고만 대바대 파조하래. 현고만 니게 줘야지. 파 대바께는 저 상쪽세대랑 그 토고요. 무릎 토지가 돼. 삼바다 니게 토고래. 삼바다 니게 토로 체베바 삼바지 지체를 속네. 이 습지 탑제라. 들이바당 들습지 탑제라. 드바당 사제에서 톱 습지 드바당 좀 쪼지 대바지 더 사제 탑제 삼진제 시락다 이제 서터. 그리 제가 습지 드바당지. 그리 제가랑지 돈지를 드바 파자들랑 그 남지다 유무고 냠도 상적거리. 삼바다 니게 대다와서 동고거리. 싸와가 될때 좀더 때문에 막 강로들은 낭매과 생을 토들에 에테레데.
So the outer aspect of the emanating and the gathering back. Now, according to the view of the secret mantra, so the outer view has to do with the entire universe and all sentient beings. So how then does this outer aspect of sending out or emanating look like now in a worldly universal level? So, for example, you have the various countries in the world, and one who leads the country. So they are like sending out wisdom and compassion to their people. So they're pervading all the people with wisdom and compassion, providing them what their needs, and that is the gathering of the vital essences of the 5 elements. So it's a sending out of wisdom and compassion and a gathering back of the vital essences of the elements so that they can be distributed to all the countries in the world and therefore sustain the lives of all the people. So it also includes the gathering back of all the scientific knowledge, which then kind of condenses the vital essence of the 5 elements. And so that's kind of on an external level. So the essence of sending out is wisdom and compassion. And then with wisdom and compassion, through wisdom and compassion, then the vital essences of what sustains life of the 5 elements of earth, water, fire, wind, and so on are all gathered and then kind of spread through all the people in the world. And so the 4 elements here represent that which supports the life of the people in this world. So that's the outer aspect of sending out or emanating and gathering back. The inner aspect is that now if we only focus on this outer aspect, it will not be sufficient. So one may only focus on this worldly outer aspect, but if one doesn't really understand karma, then it also is not so beneficial. So therefore, that's the inner sending forth and gathering back is related to the actual practice of the secret mantra, which is the visualization of the deity and the mantra recitation, whereby our impure perceptions that are based on dualistic grasping become purified. And So this sending out and gathering back happens on the basis of the pure cause. And what is sent out is one's own mind in the form of light rays. So we've mentioned before, there's 4 major benefits of the mantra circle or string. And for example, also yesterday we mentioned that the mantra performs various activities and represents various things, such as the mantra is the deity, or like the wheel, for example, a prayer wheel, and so forth. That mantra is the deity itself, and also it represents the siddhi, which is the attainment, and also it is a blessing, and also it is a purification of sentient beings' obscurations. So yesterday we mentioned when we visualize the mantra garland, it begins to turn, and then it turns very fast, which then kind of facilitates this emanating out, just like in a prayer wheel, for example. A prayer wheel, however many mantras are contained within the prayer wheel, that many mantras will be sent out with each rotation. So let's say there is 1,000,000 Mani mantras in a prayer wheel and Tara mantras, then with each rotation, 1,000,000 Chenrezeks and 1,000,000 Taras are sent out. And what it is that is really sent out is the power of one's faith and of one's compassion. And faith arises by knowing the qualities of the deity or the 3 jewels. So the light rays that are sent out are the light rays of or the mantra, the deities of faith and of compassion. And so as compassion is sent out to pervade sentient beings, it liberates them from the temporary and ultimate cause of suffering, which is their self-grasping and afflictions. So this is what happens when one sends out, and then what is gathered back then are the siddhis, the attainments. And so the actual attainment is the attainment of bodhicitta, of love and compassion. So the inner sending out and gathering back is faith and compassion. And what is gathered back, so the sending out is faith and compassion, and what is gathered back are blessings, attainments, love and compassion. And then also having obtained great compassion, then one's own compassion becomes vast. So it pervades all the sentient beings in the 6 realms of samsara, and pervading them, it melts the ice block of their self-grasping, and it causes compassion to stay with them, within their minds. So again, what is sent out is to the higher beings, faith, and to the lower or sentient beings, it is compassion. And so then when you, in return, gather back the siddhis of bodhicitta, your own bodhicitta increases, so it becomes immeasurable. And the stronger it becomes, the more it will then also purify the obscurations of sentient beings. So that is the gathering, sending out and gathering back. So sending out faith and compassion, gathering back the siddhis, and thereby accomplishing the twofold purpose of others and oneself, which is the purification of the obscurations. So that means that the self-grasping and the afflictions in your own mind and the mind of sentient beings becomes cleared away. And so this visualization or this understanding can be applied to any visualization that involves the sending out or the emanating and the gathering back. So that's the inner aspect of emanating and gathering back.
비용식에도 일랑티 산지가 제발에 강에 콜로 비용식에는 다다다 나콜 비용 가려를 라콜을 주고도 라콜이 나 자시바드는 야 쪼드데라 디 라콜디 나콜 비용 다서 그런 거를 보체게 또지 산지 인초 주면 제송 습지 탑질 산지제 제리 탑질 피고서 라콜 요거를 라콜을 쏴가 제를 쏴지 장하게 속지 정강 탑질 조바 버터고 요래 야 끼리도 사야지 집들로만 사야지 야 이 탑질이 이 대바지마 다들이 랑들이 대바다 이제 탑질 랑 다지 식도 요래 살라게 대바지나 적지서 동성 다지 로드 총도 대바가 제일나 다지 로드 총도 요래 임핑 로드 치르도 대바지다 적지서 동성 대래더니 오 sep지 좀 땅아 사야지게 적지lum마 되네 동설 따따다 사야지게 sep지 동대 피바까지 sep지 삼제 셈나 사바다 싫었다 니게 그때 탔네 이 sep지 더 유처럼 저래로 너는 셈 돌고 루토로 돌고 요만에 대래들이 다른 것도 주면 계속 되래 주면 집어서 되더니 라코를 알아 좀마다도 비용이 하고도 이 라코 지속 저도 욕도 받대 데이터를 발삼에 욕도 거래 에서다면 많이 봐오 저들랑 또 자도 봐 심리 또 받대서 오늘 때는 에서다 나코 그 비우자 따와들 라코도 저거도 이 대회를 들이 라코도 따와를 제네들이 다 그것도 약간 가사가라들이 개ப்படு다고 저거를 되는 사진이 좀 유명해 대래 사진이 줘봐 라트다가 나 사시바케 네 사제 탑질 초바 파고요. 십지 좀 되면 제 십지 탑질 삼바다 니게게 십지 탑질 로가다고 요레스. 야. 다른 것도 되면 제들이 랑게들이 라코 트리마사들이 타마반 나도 돌도 라코 때책들이 팀백과는 람이는 도요래. 라코 공부를 빼고 라코도 세부 공들들이 라코도 공들 이제 무슨 꼭 요래 필요되래 돈은 되는 들리자당 내려기나 제는 님보 어디 토지세를 지금 토지지 동네들이 다 라코다는 또 요래 이렇게 왜서 당고서 나타왔더니 준주매가 저들냐면 고카매 받으니라 이렇게 가수나 라코다라 걸 초고래 대회는 들리 다단 대로 참거 요래 그룹을 속책대 탑에 이르성 사진이 주면 제시 오 라포를 라사야면 그 사진 초서는 라산 주바게 진짜 칸탑지 찹터도 십지 좀 주면 제도 사바데 이제 지네들 대표로 맡아 제라게 삼지 같이 찹라돼서 잡고 요래 대회를 안 사바다 대바다 기계질을 들이들을 하면 나지 샘도 짱막 차들이 찹터 그 달고 주면 제성 대다워도 고는 때지는 들이디 피용 대다워 요장 소소가 대 토크 너무 따라가라 말이지 소소 대 십지 주바면 또 왜 살 대바지도 왜 어따 줄다 저 라 주바 말이야 그래서 십지가 더 좀더 주십지는 니지 제가도 왜 라면 십지는 삼지제질 어따가 저 대바야 제가도 되는 것을 주바야 버터거든 오 십지는 니게야 지금 인기스로 빠져서거든 십지 탑지 속을 보채고면 샘으로 빠지고 배티에다 조고조고는 샘도 보는 냐도 되고 샘도 보면서 보냐도 되고만 배티에다 상들이 따따다 랑코들이 랑케들이 지지질도 남님들만 되는 랑 진이 공에다 돼 요들이 대체기 오래 들들도 요래 들이 마그 배우들 저도 뭐 오시 요래 들이 답이 배샤를 들이나가 제절 방법 요래 들을 같이 들은 참조 들이 도지 그룹을 배가려라는 거 퍼봐도 띄우나 들이라는 것들이 퍼봐도 띄 아그 내서로 또 들이 그룹을 거를 들은 하자 가르쳐 보래 들이 냠이 이유는 못 제려라 진짜 매봐 이것은 잠깐은 들이 퍼봐를 막 다들 레벨 주체 매봐 딴거 요래 답지는 남녀치 매봐 딴거 요래 그래서 같이 이유를 뭐냐면 제도나 대요래 들이 지서들이 아까만 저좀 무슨 공생장들이 배고서래 Ni taren doba mambo yore, tari tashi delek shewe.
So when we practice the nail of samadhi, of single pointedness, the mind stays with the visualization of the mantra circle single pointedly. And so, however, that is not so easy. So, for example, if you're like myself, I'm a very sinful person, maybe I'm not even able to stay like 10 minutes completely focused on the visualization of the mantra garland. However, I do understand the benefits of it. So the benefit to be understood here is that the mantra, the benefits that come from practicing and visualizing the mantra string, this mantra garland, actually also arise when you're spinning a prayer wheel. So we have said that we must see the mantra as the deity itself. So when a prayer wheel is filled with mantras, with each rotation, countless deities are being sent out. So Guru Rinpoche spoke about 3 continuations, and that is first, which is the benefits that come from the mantra garland. So he said that the mantra, through the mantra, a continuous offering is made to all the Buddhas. And continuously, the obscurations of sentient beings are purified, and continuously one attains accomplishments or siddhis. So, for example, when you're spinning a prayer wheel, the same benefit is accomplished. When you're spinning a prayer wheel by sending out mantras, it becomes an unceasing offering to all the Buddhas. And if you're spinning the prayer wheel with a wish to benefit all sentient beings with a mind of love and compassion, then the mantras that are being sent out by your spinning of the prayer wheel will pervade all sentient beings, will pervade all the Buddhas, all the deities in the Pure Lands of the 10 directions, and make offerings to them there. So as we said, if the prayer wheel is filled with 1,000,000 Chenrezig and Tara mantras, then that many mantras go out with each rotation. And so it has to do with what arises in your mind. Actually, the moment faith and compassion arises within your mind, that actually is the attainment of the siddhi. That is what will purify the obscuration of self-grasping. And this is what is meant with all worldly activities become empty. It is that the self-grasping mind diminishes. The stronger your faith and your compassion, the more the self-grasping mind diminishes and the altruistic mind increases. So it is that which purifies the obscurations of all sentient beings. So if you're wondering how Chenrezig and Tara, by me spinning the prayer wheel, really benefit sentient beings, so it is through the power of your own mind, of your own compassion, your wisdom and compassion that spreads out and then kind of merges like nectar with all sentient beings, and it melts the ice block of their self-grasping. So in brief, what we need to understand is that, speaking of liberating sentient beings, it means that we have to liberate their mind. We cannot liberate their bodies. So therefore, when you spin a prayer wheel, these 3 unceasing benefits come about. And I myself, for instance, understanding this benefit, I'm always spinning the prayer wheel really continuously day and night. And that's actually important, that you have this continuation. Ideally, you're spinning it all the time, uninterruptedly. And therefore, it's better if the prayer wheel is smaller and not made out of heavy materials like gold and silver and so on. It should be a wheel that you are able to spin all the time. And because when you're spinning it, when it is in your hands all the time, then you're able to remember all the time. So the benefits that come from visualizing the mantra garland come also from the spinning of the prayer wheel, which is also now why nowadays many disciples around the world are producing those prayer wheels as a virtuous activity, because it is this great benefit that is accomplished with that. So the mantra that is sent out through the prayer wheel is the deity, and these deities make offerings to all the Buddhas in all the Pure Lands. And then what is the mantra that is sent out is also kind of a light of love and compassion, which support and benefit sentient beings in their purification of their obscurations. And as a result of that, you attain siddhis, accomplishments. And the real siddhi also is that when you spin the prayer wheel, in that moment, because the mind is focused single-pointedly, you will not develop ordinary thoughts. So it will destroy all ordinary thoughts. Otherwise, it is difficult to do that. So if it is hard to visualize the mantra garland, then also you can spin a prayer wheel, which really has the same benefits. And so now in the context of those 4 branches of approach and accomplishment, in the accomplishment stage, we visualize this sending out and gathering back of the light rays. And so the benefits of that are included within the prayer wheel. And so especially that is useful for those who are maybe not so diligent in practice, but who want to practice, but maybe do not have a lot of opportunities to always engage in practice. So for them, it is very significant to spin a prayer wheel, because all the benefits of mantra recitation and the visualization of the mantra garland are included within the prayer wheel. So keep in mind these 3 lines by Guru Rinpoche. So the prayer wheel, or let's say the mantra string, the mantra circle, becomes an unceasing offering to all the Buddhas, an unceasing purification of sentient beings, and an unceasing attainment of siddhis. The essential point that summarizes all these 3 is love, compassion, faith. So that is what makes offerings, and that is what pervades all sentient beings and purifies them and benefits them. And so we say that there is this benefit, but whether or not you accomplish this benefit is really something you have to ask yourself. It really depends on your own mind. You have to look at your own mind. So when you look at your own mind and you see that, yes, I feel a lot of faith in the deity, then you are actually making offerings to the Buddhas, to the deity. And so then if you wonder, can I really purify the obscurations of all sentient beings? Again, you ask yourself, look at your own mind, how much compassion do I have? And so if you find that I do feel great compassion for all sentient beings, then yes, you really can purify you actually can purify all the obscurations of sentient beings through the power of your compassion. So again, helping sentient beings doesn't necessarily mean that we benefit them in a physical way, but it's really the mind that brings benefit to beings. For example, it's very clear even in worldly relationships. For example, if there's a couple who get along with each other in terms of the mind, so their mind, both of their minds is in harmony, they agree on their mind level, then these people can always stay together. They will not separate. But then if it is only physical and there is no harmony on a mind level, then those 2 people will separate. So regarding the mantra garland, I myself, for example, am playing this mantra CD in my own place day and night, and I'm also trying to spin the prayer wheel day and night, because all the benefits are included within that. And so I've thought much about those benefits of the mantra already in the past. You can listen to that, and you can also read some books about that. But today, because we have a lot of recitations to do, we will stop the teachings here today. But then later, when we come to the taking of the siddhis, the taking of the empowerment, if you have a kila at home with you, then during the taking of the empowerment, you should touch your three places with your kila in order to take up those siddhis, those accomplishments. That's the most important part here for that part of the practice. And so if you're someone who really engages in practice on an ongoing basis, it is very significant to really hear the sound of the mantra, and also the recording of the ritual manual that we have made all the time, which is what I'm always playing in my retreat cabin on a loop. And so that is also of great benefit, because then really your mind will be in the state of practice at all times. So now we're going to take a break for 10 minutes, and so then we will continue the practice. We have many recitations to do today, so that's why the teachings are short today. So Dashidelek.
Sa
We continue, page 27. From the mantra garland light rays and the second mantra garland issue forth, passing from my mouth into the mouth of the consort. The self-resounding mantra proclaimed by the inconceivable dakas and dakinis in the consorts for chakras arouses the mind stream. From the concert secret place, the mantra garland enters my Vajra, and the deities residing within my channels proclaim the sound of the mantra. The mantra garland then dissolves into my heart. I visualize it uninterruptedly. Om Vajra Kilaya Jahum Vamho Katam Kate Jaya Vijaya Ajite Aparajite Marasena Pramardaniya Sarva Vignan Vam Pei. Om Vajra Kilaya Jahum Vamho Katan Kate Jaya Vijaya Ajite Aparajite Marasena Pramardaniya Sarva Vignan Bam Hum Pei. Om Vajra Kilaya Jahum Vamho Katan Kate Jaya Vijaya Ajite Aparajite Marasena Pramardaniya Sarva Vignan Bam Hum Pei. Om Vajra Kilaya Jahum Vamho Katan Kate Jaya Vijaya Ajite Aparajite Marasena Pramardaniya Sarva Vignan Bam Hum Pei. Om a I U ri ri li li I o au am a kakagaganga cha janya tata datana tata datana papa bapama yaralava shasha sahaksha svam. Om Vajra Sattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajra Sattva Tvinopa Tishtadrido Me Pava Sutokyo Me Pava Sutokyo Me Pava Anuraktu Me Pava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayacha Sarva Karma Suchame Chitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajra Mame Munja Vajri Bhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Yatharma Hetu Prabhava Hetun Tesham Tathagato Hyavadat Tesham Chaya Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashramana Sva. Om glorious great Vajrakilaya and divine court, please come here. I make out a inner and secret offerings. I praise your body, speech, mind, qualities, activities. I confess transgressions, endlessness, and confusions, vows made broken, lovingly consider me with compassion, and please grant Page 36. Gurus, knowledge holders, deities, dakinis, and those bound ones gathered like clouds in the sky. Through the power of your pasamaya, please consider us with love and shower down great blessings upon this mandala and as yogis. Equal to space, Detium manifest existence as Vajra Kilaya Vajrayus. Obscured with timely Vajra Samaya, please send down rain blessings and rain waves of surpassed secret mandala of accomplishment, please send down great enlightened body, spirit. glorious Vajra learn with past pledge answer best Vajra empowerment deity whose single poses to give unwavering protection bestow. Blessing only Next page, 67. Om Vajra Kilaya Sarva Vignan Vam Hum Pet Kaya Siddhi Om Vak Siddhiya Chitta Siddhi Hum Sarva Siddhi Hrim Om Vajra Kilaya Sarva Vignan Vam Hum Pe Kaya Siddhi Om Vak Siddhiya Chitta Siddhi Hum Sarva Siddhi Hrim Om Vajra Kilaya Sarva Vignan Vam Hum Pen Kaya Siddhi Om Vak Siddhi A Chitta Siddhi Hum Sarva Siddhi Hrim Om Vajra Kilaya Sarva Vignan Vam Hum Pe Kaya Siddhi Om Vak Siddhi A Chitta Siddhi Hum Sarva Siddhi Hri Om Vajra Kilaya Sarva Vignan Vam Hum Pe Kaya Siddhi Om Vak Siddhi A Chitta Siddhi Hum Sarva Siddhi Hri. Om timely deity Vajra Kilaya of exalted wisdom from vast space, you are effortless and free from thought. Through your blessed former heart pledge like wish granting gem rise through compassion and dwelling in your soul lost to grant unwavering protection from your will of treasures grand all accomplishments to us fortunate ones here and now. Please bestow immortal life CD, grand CD of lineage holders rule, bestow never-ending wealth CD, grand CD of copious treasure troves, bestow clairvoyance and miracle powers, grant the four activities CD, bestow Mahamudras attainment. powers of Vajra use, accomplish existence as Vajra, existence kila deities may win, manifest primordial wisdom rust, the rise of the morning sun's first light is the dawn of Vajra Rakshasa. Favored deity, heed me, please grant. Common and supreme seed is on your body, speech, mind, qualities, and acts. From the glorious knot within your heart dawns the secret sun of primordial wisdom, shining upon the three doors of a supreme yogin's seeding goal. Om Vajra Kilaya Sarva Vignan Vam Hum Pet Kaya Siddhi Om Vak Siddhi A Sita Siddhi Hum Sarva Siddhi Hrim Om Vajra Kilaya Sarva Vignan Vam Hum Pet Kaya Siddhi Om Vak Siddhi A Chita Siddhi Hum Sarva Siddhi Hri. Then we go to smoke offering. Om Svabhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma Svabhava Shuddhaham. The substances are empty by nature. Nama Sarva Tathagatabhyo Vishvamukebhya Sarva Tathamungate Sparanai Mamgaganakam Svaham. The five sense objects are a limitless sky treasure. Om Vajra Amrita Kundali Hanna Hanna Hum Pent. The materials are of a sea of nectar. Nama Sarva Tathagata Avalokite Om Sambara Sambara Om. All materials come to accord with the guest wishes. Om Jnana Avalokite Nama Samanta Sparana Rasmi Sambhava Samaya Mahamani Duro Duro Hridaya Jvalani Hum. Guests receive all materials without any loss, gain, or conflict. Nama Samanta Buddhanam Graheshvare Prabhajñati Mahasamaya Svaham. All the guests are brought under my power. Namo, by force of my intentions, the Tathagata's blessings and strands of Dharma Datum, to make offerings to them all, and benefit sentient ones. May all our aims and wishes, all of them whatever they be, in all worlds exceptionless, be fulfilled without hindrance. Emaho, consider this supremum on the four continents is the southern kingdom, Budvipam. To its northeast on Mount horses grow, plants with immortal life elixirs, Artemisia's gold flowers at its base, turquoise tufts of juniper midway, at its peak grows tree with sconch white blooms. These three plants were sublime, cities dwell, flourish fragrant all 4 seasons long. Such are their excellent qualities, to dispel sentient one's confusion. Smoke clouds from these plants below skyward, thus through 3 times Buddha's blessing, and through interdependence of beings, aspirations, karma, and merit. This fragrant elixir clears away dark dullness from God's man's demon's mind. Brilliant garlands of light, blazing rays, stream forth clearing dance dark delusions, searing hot flames burn, incinerate all corruption, impurities and dross. By praise Dharma, Datus blessing, by the true 3 jewel source of of refuge. By Vidyatara's demon's power, these three exalted plants purify mundane conditions, souls and deed of God's man, demon. This rise is the means when conflicts arise. This reconciles when pure's mixed wells fills. This cleanses it when a demons mix with obstacles. Truth lies, good, bad, get all jumbled up. Better words and middling combiner when we make mistakes in rituals. When beings contaminations a mess, this right is the purifying means. When there's bad dreams, omens, horoscopes, if five faculties are blocked or when wells God's protective, God's waken or resentments fight, jealousies arise, phantasms and fear. This right clears all when we build wrongly upon the land. When protectors' promises fade or when our swords snug us, strong spirits clash. In bad years, months, days, times, alignments of sun, moon, or stars. This rectifies through performing these well-examined. Smoke offering all is known, all is seen. Through rishis, through speech, not left undone. Through auspicious ties with this practice, and causes conditions, all's complete. Through this practice, everything's made pure. Abao, consider this today for us, master disciples, and our circles to clean, specify ayatens, diseases, impurities, resentments, jealousies, obstacles. Divine omniscient ones, please heed me. Today planets, stars are well aligned. Earth's good qualities are all complete. Time that stars and they are auspicious for this cleansing, pacifying right. Buddha's bodhisattvas are stainless. Buddha peerless being is supreme truth. These are less dharma is supreme truth. Sangha Chingas Rin is supreme truth. But rituals true blessing, may this smoke offering be accomplished perfectly. Abao, consider this with Samanta Padra's offering clouds. I cleanse, I offer with fatherhood, juniper like white sandal I cleanse, mother cedar wound like red sandal. These alloys wood, king of cures I cleanse, with rhododendron, God's fragrance with rosewood perfume, skin bliss, junipers, turquoise leaves with artemisia scent, and with musky white mugwort I cleanse. To lineage gurus, supreme refuge, to the supreme Buddhas, perfect beings, to the holy purifying karma, Dakini defenders, to Buddha's teachings and thermos guards, outer tantras, Vajra family guards, tantras and forefathers, lineage guards, Dharma center guards, lonely place guards, destined approach accomplishment guards, to God's allied with powerful legions, gods who act as watchmen day and night, who aid and act as river bridges, step up rocky cliffs, lamps in the dark, gods who watch and warn against enemies, give antidotes to poison curils, destroy moral legions, evil hosts, root armies and escort from the front, who guard from behind and meanwhile watch after our interest and wells back home, guarding toddlers and our young livestock, protecting our paternal country, who's defending me and my body. Steadfast Father Gods, local war gods, to my forefathers, ancestral gods, to goddesses of my foremothers, to gods of wealth, fortune, abundance, to king gods of sharp weapons, to wars, lords of four seasons and elements, Naga strong spirits of different realms, gods of Bhagavad trigrams, months, days, planets and 8 classes gods, to hot Ivans, powerful sovereigns of every realm, dominating all 3 planes, to gods, Nagas, Kinaras, dwelling in Maroon, the 4 continents and the 7 golden mountains, pleasure lakes, ring of iron peaks, rivers, oceans, zodiacal houses of Kansai moon, forests, charnel grounds, and the mountains, to ghost harmbringers, Garudas and serpent beings, splendors and day gangs, to gods, Nagas, rishis, with powers of hungry and aspiration, dwelling in Meru crevasses, spaces between oceans and continents, on Joe mountains and treasure islands, to those magic beings appearing in various forms, to gods guarding underground treasures, elixir, medicines, trees and crops, treasure lords, Kinaras, farmers and smell eaters, flesh eaters and day gangs, to you all I offer cleansing smoke, cleanses God realms above the earth, embers cleanse frost, Nagas below ground, flames cleanse all the beings in between, fragrance cleanses the outer world, and all sentient beings contained within, my parents of all 3 times are cleansed, hindrance, demons, karmic creditors of past and future lives, all are cleansed, especially to Tibet's 9 worldly gods, 13 hunting gods, the Genyan gods, 12 Tenma defender goddesses, local owner spirits, castle gods, Durga Tayak house spirit Getun, her spirit Yumo field gods Anpa, Rose spirit Ganpo house Lord Makon, Herd god Mayan and Wells god Galpom, Merchant Don Drubchen of war gods and to all offering worthy guest I give fragrant smoke food all desirables, thus prolong life expand glory and increase family line, cause good fortune, strength and fame to flourish for us all. To you refuge deities I confess, duly steep grasping mine, to waters where goddess fish abide, and mountains where goddess deer abide, to gods, humans, demons, sun, moon, stars, I confess and offer cleansing smoke, to Nagas, harsh ones, planets and stars, to omniscient wisdom deities, I confess and offer cleansing smoke, by confessing and cleansing this way, all pleasures, false habits and mistakes, impurities, samaya, taints, bad luck, falls from tainted body, speech and mind, wells that dim like mist round mountain peaks, poison that creep like wine, smooth rain trees, samaya stains like sun, moon eclipse, all are cleared by these auspicious rite, falls that displease deities and guards, hostility and with tainted bonds, reason from weak vows, miss this malice, and impure burnt offerings or all cleansed by power of performing this great rite, please purify ignorance, samaya taint, evil spirits, illness, obstacles, drive out sorcery, harm, and perfectly accomplish desires and intentions, run long life, health, happiness, and vows, may goodness prevail everywhere and be the cause for great awakening. Okay. As I've cleansed immortality stains with fragrance of pure vows, bonds and things, noble ones thus pleased, bless course and of conduct and virtues. May all realms and beings have happiness through pleasing the righteous. Gods, Nagas, as of clean jealousy, ruthlessness, with the fine perfume of pure intent. May local God spirits be infused with love and compassion's fine fragrance. May these vast offerings, small incense food, pure and arisen from pure causes, gathered with delight, joyful effort, satisfy all spirits gathered here. By this power may we and our circles be freed from laws of folk as livestock. May perfect fortune and grace expand. May all dharma wishes be achieved.
Next, we'll recite the World Peace Prayer, and it's in the Rainfall of Benefit and Happiness text on page 98. To the unfailing sources of refuge, the three jewels and three roots, and especially Chenrezig, the protector of the land of snows, to noble Tara and Guru Padmasambhava, I pray. Please remember your sacred pledge of former times. Please grant blessings that this aspiration be entirely fulfilled in this dark age of decline. The thoughts and actions of beings are corrupted, and the balance of the outer and inner elements is lost. Through these causes and conditions, humans and animals alike are seized by epidemics and diseases unknown in the past. They are struck by planetary demons, nagas, evil spirits, dark forces, and elemental spirits. Crops are damaged by blight, frost, and hail, and there is fighting and dispute. Untimely rains and heat waves and droughts in the world, fear of earthquakes, fire, adversaries, and natural catastrophes, and in particular evil hordes that hurt the teachings and so forth, cause harm and violence throughout the world. May these be swiftly pacified and vanquished from their very roots. In the minds of all beings, human and non-human, may precious and supreme bodhicitta arise naturally. And free of harmful thoughts and actions, may the minds of all be filled with love for one another. May the entire world enjoy abundant happiness and wealth. May the Buddha's teachings spread far and endure long, and by the truthful power of the three roots, the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, by whatever virtuous roots there are in samsara and nirvana, and by the power of our highest pure intention, may this aspiration be fulfilled. So I would like to make some announcements before we take a break and resume for the 2 o'clock Tibetan session this afternoon. This will be the last session that His Eminence Garchen Rinpoche attends, and we would, from From the Garchen Institute and from the Worldwide Sangha, we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude for your bestowing the profound Vajrakilaya empowerment and leading us in this practice and giving such clear and necessary commentary to understand the practice better. Thank you for continuing to guide us with your infinite wisdom and love. On behalf of all of the Sangha and the Garchen Institute, we make this offering to you.
Should I translate this, Christina? I don't know if Rinpoche can hear me.
Yes, please.
So translate, yeah? Rinpoche, can you hear me? Rinpoche, I think that I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes, he can hear you.
He can? Okay. Tini tanna ganso Garchen chuzo tini zambolingi chuzo ti lama chama ki chap sene tini ganso Rinpoche nin tapa name tanna wang chi tini ganso nyamdo nyamle naya la nin tapa na chudi je shue yus tini tanna ganso damgak sarbo tini karchenbo tini ganso Garchen naya la nin tapa na chudi jes tini moon chuna tini ganso Rinpoche ki sherab tang ninja ki kone ta tabalamba tenang yo restila nin tabane tudi ches tini jewa tan tembe kona tini Rinpoche chuba di puaji nagori ngebaji kam pua yens
dili ta mato ani chawari dili suro ta chongkori yore idang 단 될 쇼파 참만을 들을 다시 될 방법이요. 들이지 마음발 다다의 냠들이 야들이 합적 같이 장래 들이 슬랍부터 들이 다다지 자작하는 살에 나는 이 대외 주소 그 들이지 기타를 살이 쳐본 남들이 주소 소속들 수주거랑 나는 쇼트 받들이 하장 가르쳐 버리 이 마음발랑 들이 다다 들이 자작기 타고 좋으면 대표용지 벌써 그 생각 어떤 점도 망고 요래서 대 많이라는 개념이 제대로 변화 답을 라직 퍼파 맥직이냐미신 답을 능력들이 자세 설마 퍼파냐미 좀 참아적 받자고 요래 답을 능력들이 나와서 되겠지 맥직 산속습지 제형은 답을 능 감수는 산속습지 제면 참지 냠도 요거를 대서 소소 찍고 있는 사람이 그 말이 오 사초습지는 감수는 사초습지 때문에 도저 가서 쪽발에서 대사를 지는 이 미치고 인사들이 냐면서 요 말에 대 자작하니 맥통도 그 요래 아주 고토고 요래 이 지세 맞다 ram나라는 그 낭매들이 답대 원이랑 하겠다 땅이 좋아지 레이터 좋아하는지 냐미게는 하여튼 사람들 뭐이 윤우 설마샤버리 자고 박차래 들이때는 참말들이 나도 다시 데리저들이 스로용 소소리 요래 다시 데리 요래 들이 망발스 mention 양이 제모나 양자도 양이 제도 초리들이 바닥을 바라는 게 병우치 바래 나그 잠깐은 그 진치 매 받는 양이 제 요래 내 가리 온 잡을 리파 양이 제는 망보 요래시 이 소소게 여람들이 보고 충분히 당보고 돼 이람들 파바래 들이 제는 이 사면양이 진치 mentioned 남 랑코르도 요를 들이대다 다 배우면서인데 요래 달 이주 사지 인주 준매체 습지도 좀 준매체 달 그룹 준매체에서 준매체 봤어 이제 뜨든 잡지들 맘좀 민좀 정보저서 걸 보체게 되게 답지는 사실이다 랑코르에 랑코르가 랑코르 상기 요래 곰내리 당다 사게 요래 들이 타말로 다시 될래셔이 라포트 주소가 살는 다들 받나데 도제체 살리나 망보고 통성 거서 개별 왔다베디 공침보를 로송침보를 때는 맞을들이 주소가 가리 약해요. 내가 참아가지고 도제체 쇼거래
Nothing. Yes. So we have now taken the empowerment, taken up the city this morning, and in the afternoon we are going to have a Gana Chakra feast offering. And I would like to say thank you to everyone who has joined this retreat. And you should continue to engage in this practice also in the future. And if you do this practice on your own in the future, the blessings are exactly the same. And so now we are holding the events over the internet, over the live stream. And it's very important actually for this activity to be successful, for all the different centers to come together and to collaborate on these events. That's very important. So each of the centers, they join, and it would be good in the future if we would continue to do something like that, where on the internet we are all kind of coming together as one, and we are kind of organizing it together as one. That would be of a great benefit in general, and also then on a personal level, continue to engage in practice. And also think that it's not just you maybe doing the practice, but everyone who is engaging in the practice actually is uniting wherever they are in the world. So whoever, for example, practices the deity Vajra Kilaya, wherever they are in the world, and whoever they are, whether they are lay people or ordained, whoever practices will be together, and also the benefit is exactly the same. They will receive the same benefit. And so, according to the Buddhist view, whoever cultivates a mind of bodhicitta will unite with all those in the world who also cultivate bodhicitta. So one person who cultivates bodhicitta unites with all the beings in the three realms of samsara who have cultivated bodhicitta. So therefore, don't think I'm alone, but if you cultivate bodhicitta, we really are one and the same. So it's not that the body has to be together in order to practice together, but it's that mind bodhicitta. And especially nowadays, since it all happens over the internet, actually it's a real opportunity to practice the Vajrayana as it really is, the true Vajrayana, because we unite in this mind way, and also we can see each other on the screen and we can hear each other's voices. So that's actually the real secret mantra. So continue to engage in practice on your own. If it is convenient where you are staying, ideally maybe you can play the SED, a recording of the mantra and also of the sadhana, and then engage in practice. And the blessings is exactly the same. And the point is that we have to habituate for a long time, so we are again and again placing these imprints into our mind. So continue to engage in practice in this way in the future. And now is really the best time to do that. And the benefit is exactly the same. So it's not about the physical closeness. So over the internet, the benefit is exactly the same. And so that's what I myself practice when I'm in my retreat cabin. Actually, I practice Vajrakilaya continuously, and continuously I have the recording running in my cabin. And I always engage in this practice because I know that there are many people in the world who are also practicing. And so for this reason, I practice so that we can kind of unite. And this particular deity is a deity that I have practiced already since I was a child, very young. I always practiced Vajrakilaya as the yidam. So it possesses a lot of power, and therefore I encourage you to continue to engage in this practice continuously. And also to spin the prayer wheel, which has great benefits, as we mentioned. So we mentioned before, it has the benefits of the 3 continuations: the continuous offering made to the Buddhas, and the continuous purification of sentient beings' obscurations, and the continuous attainment of your own siddhis. So the Guru Rinpoche had also said that. So it is like the benefit is of the secret mantra. Speaking about the benefits of secret mantra, it is something that hasn't so unique. It hasn't been there. It hasn't been there. Will not be there, and is not there. It's beyond those times, 3 times. So I would like to also say thank you to everyone who has made this possible at the center, on all the centers, and the chant masters and the translators, and everyone who really joined and contributed to this and make this happen. And for example, you have offered your service for maybe no a benefit in return, just to make this happen. And I'm very grateful for that, and I would like to say thank you to all of you, and many Dashi Delek. And so in the afternoon, we will still continue with the Gana Chakra feast offering.
Di mogen de nita chaptin ram mango she ngwe mo ik ni banani ti ta di chapti o ti de sang di na taba tak to por de gor bo ji song ne chapti cho ta ba de sang de slo ja chen bo de ni no ba le te ma sem ja che ko sa ba ja che le ti sang chung chung lang bu ko thora de lang na ja kap ge thu de le no le sang chung chung tang ne sem ja che bo le 이 작인 삼천은 상득이 기보리 진짜 자자 가리양 나나게 진짜 나나 땅 털려 고요래 참참나 들이 참아라더니 아비바디 상가 롱라 들이 짜치데레 들이 참아게 산적서 너보자다 봐쇼 들이 보나죠.
Also, we have practiced the smoke offering today, and so in the world, but we have this older tradition, and in a Tibetan tradition, and there is various traditions, and basically often people ask for divinations, and so then each divination maybe shows a different kind of obstacle, and then there are many different pujas, prayer ceremonies that are prescribed for each individual outcome of the divination. And actually, all of these different prayer ceremonies that are prescribed when we ask for divination actually are all included within just the smoke offering. Guru Rinpoche had actually said that. Therefore, the smoke offering is the best puja ceremony to clear away all kinds of hindrances. And so when you do a smoke offering, it is not necessary that on the outer level, it is not necessary that it is a huge, like a bonfire or some like a big offering. But what has to be vast, rather than the external smoke, is the inner mind. That has to be vast. And so the mind, the intention must be vast, and the smoke offering itself can just be very small, like an incense and so on. But it would be good to continue to practice this sometimes if you can, if you have the time. Also, the text and the recording is now on the internet, so you can conveniently do the practice. It's a very important practice. So I encourage you to continue, if you have time sometimes, to practice it. And so at the end, I also pray, wishing for all of your good health and long life. And I also pray that you will all hold on firmly to bodhicitta.
Om Vajrakilaya